Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my 7th installment of Take Charge Thursdays. And this one is a layout that could be quite easily a single layout, or you can do it across 2 pages, whatever suits you. It's really simple, and it is about just getting in and finding our decorative papers and just using them up on our layouts. And we don't even need big pieces, they can be scraps. But not only that, it's just about balance. So it's about getting a nice balance where we only use the squares on 3/4 of the page and we leave a bit of white space and we cluster the photos. So this is 2 pages here that are going in my New York album. They are going side by side with different color schemes, but they just balance really well. So I really like how that works. But of course you might need just a single page layout. And so this concept is just brilliant for a single page layout as well. So you don't even have to do a double page layout. So what you need is your card bases. Doesn't matter what color it is. I'm going to be working on white. Then you need one particular color cardstock to mount your photos in. So for me, I've chosen these colors here as my decorative papers. I'm actually using this side as well. So I've got 4 different prints, and then I'm using the Bluebird cardstock for my photo squares, for my photo mats. Okay, so I'm going to just pop my pages out so you can see them, and I'm just going to show you that you just need to cut your decorative squares into 2.5 by 2.5 squares, and it really depends on your cluster as to how much it covers the space, as to how many squares you need. And the reason why I'm saying that is because on this particular layout here, I've gone ahead and chosen my 4 photos. I'm a little bit cheeky though. So there's my 3, and for my 4th one I've actually cut 2 to go in a 4x6 photo matting. So I've actually got 5 photos, but I'm classing it as 4 photo mats. Okay, so basically I work out this is roughly where my cluster of photos is going to go. This is the side that I'm going to leave white. Okay, so that's where I'm going to put like my title and so forth. So I just need to fill the squares in on 3/4. So basically I just go through, I cut them and I place them roughly where I want them. And I already went ahead and did this previously so I could just sort of show you that they just mixed. There's no actual pattern to them. So where these all cluster over there, I'm not going to worry about putting squares there. And this particular one, this is the last off cut, because when I cut 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, I'll get 4. The last piece is actually 2 inches by 2.5. So I'm actually going to sneak that one in underneath there because you're not going to miss the rest of that square. So that's just a little cheeky way Laura does things. And the same here, I'm going to place that one there and that cluster will hide that one. And then I'm just going to place this one under here. Okay. So basically I've got 4 full squares, another 4 full squares, so that's 8 full squares, and then I've got 2 half pieces, and that's where that one's going to lay out. Now in my actual layouts, what I did was to add a little bit of fun element to this is I've actually given the pieces of cardstock a distressed edge on all of the squares. So you can really see the distressed edge here. And it just gives it a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of wow. You could certainly leave them undistressed as these are, but I do actually like the little bit of distressing on it. So once you've got the distressing on it, that's when you can go ahead and stick down. So what I'm going to do is I've actually already distressed a heap here, okay? And these ones are going on like this because I've got a cluster that's going at the top. Right, so like so, and I've got a cluster going there. Now let me just show you a couple of ways that you can distress the squares. You can just, if you've got nails, enough nails, you can just literally scratch the edges. That's just going to distress them, okay? Simple, simple, nothing special, no fancy tools, just your nails, okay? If you don't have nails, that's okay. You can actually sort of just bend it. It really doesn't matter. You're just giving it distress look. You can put 3 fingers here and just rub it on the palm of your hand. You find the way that you want to distress the best, okay? And don't spend too much time on it. It's just giving it a little bit of depth, okay? That's what I'd like to say. It's giving it a little bit of depth. Right, so then my clusters up here, go like so. Again, you can see now why I haven't put squares in this area, because my photos are just going to simply go over the top of it, and to me there's absolutely no point putting paper where we're going to then hide it with photos. That's the way I roll. Okay, so we're going to pop those there, and then I was a little bit cheeky and I had one little photo left that I thought would be brilliant sitting in one of the squares, so I actually cut a photo down to 2 by 2. So this is what I love about scrapbooking. There's no rules. You do what you do best. But what I wanted to show you was the balance, how to balance it out really nicely. Okay, and so then I've gone ahead and cut my photo mats. Well, I had. Where have I put them? Here they are. Okay, just out of the screen. So here's my photo mats, and this is really what then brings your photos to life, okay, with all that overlapping. So you will have learnt in the first couple of scrapbook layouts that I cut my photos down to the 3/4. So 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, or 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. And you know what? I've even done it here on these ones because it's now just become such a habit. And it's okay, because if you cut your photos just down that little bit smaller, it does give your page a little bit more room to play with. And believe it or not, I've actually not cut one of my photos down to size. I'm going to just pinch this one for now. Okay, so as you can see, once you get those photo mats on, it really brings it to life. Okay, now all you have to do is stick these squares down with even spacing. So just get them lined up with an even spacing, okay, and then just pop a little bit of tape runner or double-sided tape, whatever you prefer to use, and get them stuck down. So with this particular one, I don't really measure, I just go with the right spacing. It doesn't matter, obviously left to right matters, that you get it roughly right, but when you're starting to work up, because you've got that white gap, if you don't get it perfect, it's really not going to matter. As I've said with artwork, we look at the overall finish. We don't zone in and just, you know, looking at one particular part of the overall look. So we just, as long as you get it really close, that's all that matters. Okay, so a bit of tape, get them all stuck down, because I just want to show you they're stuck. So I actually need that one to go this way. So you see how I'm a bit cheeky and I sneak in things a little bit smaller. I'm just showing you these things because it might help you if you didn't quite have enough paper. Just then use a little piece, as long as it's poking out beneath the photo, so it pretends, your eyes will think it's a square underneath there. Okay, so as you can see, this is yet again another really quick layout idea. It's another one that you can do multiple times. So I already showed you that I've got a double page going in my New York holiday album. The one that was a single page spread is in my 2019 family album. And this here, my gosh, I haven't even worked on these photos for many years. These are the last remaining few pages that I need to do in my Tahiti holiday album that I haven't pulled out for ages. And I thought, you know what, this is going to work brilliantly in this album. And I've actually stuck to the same paper pack throughout the whole entire album. So I thought this would be brilliant because it won't use up too much of the paper, but it will look amazing. Okay, so they're all stuck down now. I'm going to quickly tape my photos to the photo mats. It always looks so much better once it's got stuck down, because it actually stays in place and you can see the spacing better and you know what's going on. I love it once a page starts getting stuck down. You can feel it just coming together and it's really starting to, you know, finish, which is just brilliant. Okay, so you can imagine the squares here. So I actually have a little bit of play to not have to be butted up on that square. I can come in a bit because your eye is imagining the squares underneath there. I hope that makes sense. Okay, this one here. And the reason why I want to stick it down is I actually want to give you a little bit of a tip about how I stuck all my photos on. So I'm just going to take this little cheeky 2x2. I'm going to stick it down here in amongst the flowers. And I am going to have to just get my trimmer and trim down this photo that I didn't trim down. because I want to stick it on. So I'm just cutting it down to 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, and that's just going to go on there like so. Okay. Now, because all of these squares are just stressed on the edge, this is about one of the only times that I break my personal rule of sticking everything down with my tape runner, and I'm actually going to tape them on with my thin 3D foam tape. Okay, so let me just get it till I feel like I've got the look I'm after. So it's brilliant when you've got landscapey photos that have got lots of excess bushwork, you know, bush and stuff like that, because you can overlap and get a lovely cluster. So I'm really happy with that. So then I'm just going to pull in my thin 3D foam tape, the 1mm in height, and I find it easiest to just, oh, my tape's being silly, hold on a second, there we go. All right, I find it best to just basically hold my cluster in place like so. I'm just going to bend this photo back and put a little bit of thin 3D foam tape underneath it, and then just peel the backing off of it, and then just stick the photo down. Okay, and because this tape is so sticky, so same thing, I'm just going to peel that back, place the tape down, and then just bend over and attach it. I'm actually only going to put a couple of pieces per photo because this is going to go into my album. It's going to have a protector over it. As long as it's stuck down in place in a couple of places, it's not going to move, it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to actually remove that one, and I will just put a little piece underneath this one here. Okay, and then I'm going to lift this one up and put a little piece under there. Okay, now if it was a card, I wouldn't be doing this because a card is going to be handled and touched and, you know, just pulled and so forth. But with scrapbooking, because it's going to go in an album with protectors, I'm really not as worried because that protector is actually going to keep it in place, as well as the adhesive that I'm placing on it. So I'm just got it in place now, lifting it up, making sure that the tape's going to be underneath it, and then just place it on down. So that's why I wanted to stick all this down, so I could show you how I put a cluster together. And I honestly feel like that's enough tape. It's not going to fall off, so I'm just going to show you. So, yep, it's stuck under there. You can go through a bit of a storm. It's all good. And then the protector will go on there and it will hold it in place. Now that the cluster's on, this is where I can add the journaling. So for the journaling on this type of layout, what I think personally looks best is if you just cut some white strips. So these strips were 3/8 of an inch in width from top to bottom, the 3/8, and then you just cut them, you know, to the width that you need. So I could have definitely longer strips down along here. And then just for the decorativeness, just pull out any kind of embellishments that you have. So I've got so many open packets of things, and I would just, you know, things can go across photos like so. You can put half little, you know, tags and embellishments. I could put this camera up in the top there. So it's all just about balancing it out with just a little bit of detail to finish it off. Obviously your decorative paper is really what gives it a lot of colour and wow, but I'll just quickly go through these ones here. So here in this white spot, I just made a small cluster here, stop and smell the roses. There's no roses on here. It was about stopping and having a night out with a friend and just having a drink and a little cheese board. Then again, I just filled in the white here with another little wowie and just a couple of little embellishments, and that's it. And that page was just, it's perfectly balanced and it's really pleasing. And again, on the double page one that I did, same thing here. Oh, knocked my camera, sorry. So same thing for the journaling, just white strips. Again, they're the 3/8 in height, and then I just cut them to suit where I was writing. And then just a couple of little embellishments to fill in gaps. So that's Take Charge Thursday. It's yet again another really simple one. I feel like I'm just teaching you guys very basic things, but look how good it looks when it's finished. And you can do it, like I said, over and over again with multiple different themes, and find all that decorative paper, and then just find that balance and that cluster. So once these 2 pages are completely stuck down, I'll actually have 10 photos across the 2 pages, and I feel that's really good. I'm always happy if I can get at least 10 photos across 2 pages. Well, I hope that helps you all and that you enjoy putting together a couple of these layouts. Thanks guys, bye.